From parents to offspring, often determined in traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Marketing for American Eagle just 5 days ago went on LinkedIn and gave us a little context and some behind the scenes of this now infamous Sydney Sweeney ad. Her name is Ashley Shapiro, and she, like I said, is the Vice President of Marketing, Media, Performance, and Engagement at American Eagle. To start from the top, during a Zoom call with Sydney, we asked the question, how far do you want to push it? Without hesitation, she smirked and said, let's push it.
The internet was already giving major side-eye to Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad, but then Doja Cat jumped in and stirred the pot even more. Some folks think she completely shut it down with one TikTok. Boom, just like that. But others, they think she's just trying to stay in the spotlight and now her past is crawling back into the convo. This drama is everywhere, TikTok, Reddit, all over social media. But not everyone's writing for Doja on this one. Let's break down this wild situation. Doja Cat found herself right in the middle of another internet storm. This time, for straight up mocking Sydney Sweeney's new campaign with American Eagle. And yeah, she did it in classic Doja style. Full sarcasm, zero chill. Now, if you're wondering what Sydney did to catch heat in the first place, here's the deal. She teamed up with American Eagle and dropped a video that instantly blew up online. In it, she delivered this soft-spoken monologue all about genes, and not the ones you wear. She was talking genetics, like my genes are blue, in a play on words between genes, G-E-N-E-S, and jeans, J-E-A-N-S. People weren't having it. Social media blew up accusing her of pushing weird messages about eugenics and even white supremacy.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
She mentioned traits like hair color, eye color, and personality all being passed down. That line, my genes are blue, that set the internet on fire. The ad instantly rubbed hundreds of thousands of people the wrong way. And they weren't just calling out Sydney, they were dragging her whole team too. Folks pointed out how a campaign like this doesn't just get slapped together, it would have had to pass through dozens of meetings, 30 or more. And not one person thought to speak up and say, hey, maybe this is a bad idea. That's what's got people shook. Some even said the script gave off serious vintage Calvin Klein vibes, those eerie, artsy ads using this kind of fake deep, pseudo-scientific language. Others went harder, calling it crypto-fascist marketing disguised as denim aesthetics. Yikes! As of now, Sydney hasn't said anything publicly about the backlash. But the fallout has sparked a bigger convo online about how brands are still pushing whiteness, purity-coded visuals, and this odd mix of witchy aesthetics in 2025. People are like, why are we still doing this? American Eagle's always leaned into that all-American look, but this time, fans think they went too far. The ad felt more exclusive than inclusive, and that's what really set folks off. And to make it worse, Sydney already had heat on her name from past moments, like those viral birthday party pics with MAGA themes, and the way she stays quiet on big political issues. So to a lot of people, this ad didn't feel like a one-off, it felt like a pattern. Then Doja Cat entered the chat. She jumped on TikTok and straight up parodied Sydney's ad, repeating the same script word for word, but with a thick southern drawl and an over-the-top delivery that had people laughing and debating.
From parents to offspring, often determined in traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Some people were hyping Doja up for that TikTok, cheering her on like she just shut the whole campaign down. But not everyone was clapping.
And Doja Cat sitting up here mocking Sydney Sweeney in that American Eagle commercial. We ain't forgot what happened in them chat rooms. Who the fuck told you you could do that? I bet you if you had the opportunity, you would have been in that American Eagle commercial. I promise you, you would have. To sit up here and mock that commercial like you wasn't doing what you was doing years ago to get where you are now in those white supremacist chat groups, letting them call you all kinds of derogatory names. Yeah, we ain't forgot. You just want to be on the trend so bad. It's like y'all be thirsty and desperate to try to be regular. It's like, oh, let me jump on this trend because I want to be just like everybody else that's posting about it. But you're not regular. You're not. Nor does this whole take resonate with you at all. You're just doing it because you know your followers are going to fall into your little hand. And everybody that's into her comments that are laughing and hee-hee and I never expected Doja Cat to do this, they're all palm colored or they're just not black, but she doesn't give a fuck. We ain't forgot. So if anything, Doja, please don't, because it's the right message from the wrong fucking person. You are the last person on the face of planet Earth who needs to be mocking anything that anybody did that's in support of white supremacy, okay?
A lot of folks quickly turned the spotlight back on her, and not because they disagreed with what she said, but because they haven't forgotten her past. The second her satirical TikTok started going viral, the backlash kicked off. People online started calling her out, saying it felt like Doja was clout chasing, just trying to ride the Sydney wave to stay relevant. And yeah, some even said, "Why is she talking?" They started digging up her old scandals real fast.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often terminated.
I know you're f***ing lying. Doja Cat, the queen of niche racist slurs, is saying something about Sydney Sweeney. You guys appeal to the exact same audience. The only difference is that yours is well documented as opposed to Sydney Sweeney's. When I say well documented, I mean well documented. Even the Rolling Stone has clocked your racism, Doja. So let me get this straight. Doja Cat has a problem with Sydney Sweeney and her American Eagle campaign. I find that hilarious. Doja Cat is the same artist that dug up a racist internet slur that was only found on 4chan. Videos came out of Doja moaning and groaning for a bunch of supremacists. And you thought we forgot? No, the North remembers. As your local internet resident of the North, I'm not going to let you guys forget. And this is the exact reason why people have an issue with Doja Cat. She's a culture vulture. Doja Cat is a woman that obviously hates rap culture, but fiends for their approval. And she does that because she wants to be like one of the male rappers. Those are who she thinks are her peers. That's also why she thought it was appropriate to go after Sydney Sweeney. And look, I'm not defending Sydney Sweeney, but I'm calling a duck, and Doja Cat is definitely a duck. Remember guys, racist birds of a feather always flock together.
Basically, the internet hit her with, "Doja, maybe you should sit this one out." What was supposed to be a moment to poke fun at Sydney ended up backfiring, and instead, people started rehashing Doja's own messy history.
White supremacists. I am gonna start with the chat room that I go to is a public chat room. It's me, my friends, you go in there. Now you have to pay $30 to get into the chat room, which is a new thing. But I used to go in there for free, and I learned, that there are racist people who come in and out of the chat. They're there. They happen and then they're banned. The idea that this chat room is a white supremacist chat room is, I don't understand it in any way. And not even full, I just don't understand.
Critics were saying she might have just reignited the fire around her own past. And let's not forget, back in 2020, Doja caught major heat for her alleged activity in online chat rooms, where she was accused of participating in super problematic conversations. Screenshots and clips were flying around, showing her in chats where some pretty racist and hateful language was being thrown around. She was accused of making shady jokes and engaging with people who had disturbing views. While she denied some of the accusations, the damage stuck, and for many, it's still not forgotten. So now with this whole Sydney situation, people are side-eyeing Doja like, "Girl, you of all people want to speak on this?" They're saying her jumping in feels less like a clapback and more like deflection, like she's trying to shift attention off her own past by dragging someone else's. TikTok and Reddit started filling up with clips from Doja's old live streams and screenshots from those infamous chat rooms. People were pointing out how her past comments and associations still leave a bad taste. Some even said it's wild that she's mocking Sydney over tone-deaf messaging when she's been called out for similar issues in the past.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like, fascist weird. Like, propaganda weird. Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is propaganda.
As someone who works in marketing, that campaign with American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney was definitely a choice. A deliberate one, and needs to be taken as seriously as we are trying to have the conversation on here that it is. Not only did they pull inspo from a campaign that literally sexualized children, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, please look up the Brooke Shields and Calvin Klein campaign back in like the 80s, 90s. But the specific wording of the script, the copy, like everything, like it was a very deliberate choice.
And while Doja's got a diehard fan base ready to defend her at any cost, even some of them were like, yeah, maybe this wasn't the move. The problem is, every time Doja steps into one of these internet dramas, it reopens wounds that still haven't healed with the public. So instead of her taking the spotlight from Sydney, it turned into a whole double backlash, both of them getting dragged at the same time. What makes it even messier is that Doja hasn't really fully addressed her past. She's made vague comments here and there, but never anything solid that would put it all to rest. So for critics, this TikTok just feels like she's throwing stones while living in a glass house. And now the internet's buzzing with one big question. Was Doja genuinely calling out a bad campaign, or just trying to clean up her own image in the middle of someone else's controversy? Meanwhile, the internet's still eating this up, and the debates just keep getting hotter. Some are defending Doja, saying she was just being her usual sarcastic self and using humor to call out a campaign that clearly missed the mark, but others say this wasn't comedy, it was strategic. Like she knew the ad was already getting dragged and jumped in just to ride the wave. And here's where things get even more layered, because people are now dragging both women for very different reasons.
I've worked in marketing for 15 years, and one of my favorite things to say whenever I see like a billboard or a television show or something that looks a little problematic is there were meetings about that. There were so many meetings about that. And I want to talk about how many meetings this had to go through. How many people saw this before it even got to us? And this is what they pitched for Q3, right? Because this dropped like right around the beginning of July. This is a Q3, like this is supposed to last all through back to school, right? So that meeting's like 10, 12 people. I'm being very conservative, that's about 10, 12 people, right? Second meeting we have, the chief marketing officer and probably the director of marketing have a meeting with the rest of the C-suite. That meeting has another 6 people, 8 people, their assistants. So like conservatively, like 16 people in this meeting, right? From that meeting, they send everything over to Sydney Sweeney's team. Agents, managers, Sydney herself, whoever's in the room, whoever's on her team, her lawyers, everyone. They probably pitch her 3 different ideas for like what they want to do. And they're like, love it, Sydney's in, let's go. That's another 6 people who heard Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Now we have to talk about creative team. We have to talk about the copywriter who's going to write the script for this because she has to say words. So someone wrote that script, right? We got the copywriter, we got the videographer, we got the director, we got all the people, all the crew that's on set who are hearing her say these words because people are on set hearing her say this. The hairstylist, the makeup artist, all those people get a brief. And they're like, yo, the campaign is called Sydney Sweeney Has Great Genes. It's about this, make her hair look like this, do something to her eyes so that they really pop. This is a lot of people to approve this ad. For the amount of people online who are clear as day, like, this is eugenics, oh my God, how could they do this? There are so many people who have an uproar about this. This went through so many people.
Sydney's being accused of promoting outdated, harmful ideals wrapped in a soft-filtered denim fantasy, while Doja's being accused of hijacking the moment to dodge her own baggage. It's like a controversy within a controversy. Social media is split right down the middle. Some are like, Doja is calling out privilege, while others say she's distracting from her own. And Sydney, she's still staying silent, which is only fueling more backlash. Critics are saying silence feels like avoidance, and it's just not a good look. At the same time, brands are catching heat too. People are now questioning how campaigns like this keep getting approved in the first place. They're asking how many people had to greenlight this message without stopping to think about the deeper implications. So now, what started as one tone-deaf ad has turned into a full-blown internet firestorm, and it's got fans, critics, and brands all tangled up in it. And trust, it doesn't look like it's dying down anytime soon. And just when things couldn't get any wilder, some users started comparing Doja and Sydney's situation side by side, saying this whole mess shows how the internet picks and chooses who gets held accountable and how hard. One tweet even said, Sydney makes one weird ad and it's chaos. Doja's been problematic for years and people still treat her like a meme queen. That one post alone racked up thousands of likes. This sparked a whole new convo about cancel culture, selective outrage, and how fame sometimes shields people from real consequences. People are questioning why Doja still gets viral moments and chart-topping success, even when she's been tied to way more serious allegations. Meanwhile, Sydney, who's mostly been seen as America's sweetheart, is now being labeled a hidden threat because of one campaign. Some say it's about race, others say it's about fan loyalty, and a few say it's just plain hypocrisy. Either way, both of their reputations are taking hits, and this whole situation has turned into one giant mess of finger-pointing, deflecting, and exposing. To make it messier, there's still no official statement from either woman. Not a single apology, clarification, or even a "y'all misunderstood me" moment. It's been total radio silence, which is only making the speculation grow louder. Now, people are watching closely to see who addresses it first, and how they spin it. Because in this storm, every word and every silence says something. One of the wildest moments in Doja Cat's past was when she got linked to a Discord server where users were reportedly sharing racist, sexist, and straight-up offensive content. Even though Doja denied being part of any hate groups or supporting any of that behavior, just being connected to that scene had people going off. Critics slammed her for not instantly shutting it all down. They said the way she handled it, slow, vague, and low-key, only made it look worse. Folks were like, why didn't she speak up faster? That silence had people questioning where she really stood. Doja eventually dropped a series of apologies, saying she does not condone racism, hate, or any of that toxic stuff. She also explained that some of the things people dug up were meant as jokes, sarcasm, or taken out of context, and that back then she was young, reckless, and didn't fully understand the impact of her words. Still, for many online, the controversy never fully went away. And now, every time Doja steps into drama, even when she's calling out someone else, it all comes back around. But what do you think? Is Doja just being misunderstood, or is this pattern something deeper? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm reading all of them. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more piping hot celebrity drama. Hit that bell so you never miss the tea. And watch the next video on your screen for even more scandals that had the internet spiraling. See you there.